What are you? You all right?
I was just looking around for like
I was just looking around.
just visual, something to use.
You know we're supposed to be recording a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, you do your fucking thing.
Do what?
Your intro.
Okay, we're just going straight into it.
Well, we'll put that look around bit in.
I was looking around for visual things, stimulus to do a bit.
Microphone? Hey, you have a microphone? You have a microphone with you got a plastic plants are weird, huh? Is that what you were looking for?
It was just because we've done 2 back to back, so there's no way we can do.
We haven't. We've done 1 back to back.
Sorry, but we've already done a preamble for 1. I didn't want. I was like, now we got to fake a preamble.
That wasn't planned though, was it? You didn't think about that.
No, the first preamble was just natural preamble because it was the first time we sat down.
But all we got to do is sit here for 2 seconds and we'll find something to talk about.
That's what I was trying to do.
But you're just looking around for inanimate objects.
Yeah, I was like, because I was like, hey, look, this is cool. We both have McCafes that are different.
Yeah,
they're different sizes. I can.
That's what they do in the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He goes, hey, so this is weird. We both are drinking a coffee.
No, but it's like if they'd already done a Tonight Show, if they'd already done the interview.
They do film more than one at a time.
I know, but they do the interview with someone, and it's not a test. We did the actual thing, and then we sit down again, and we have to do a fake preamble because we've already done one. And I was like, well, I don't want to do a fake preamble. I want to come up with a gag. 2 different coffee cups, different sizes. Maybe there's a joke in there about dicks. That's what went through my head. Is that okay? I'm doing my intro. Vanity, vapidness, velocity, vitriol. Some of those don't apply, but it was fun to say. Triangle of Sadness has taken all of the rules of cinema, wrapped them up in a tight fist and said, "Get out of here, rules!" The story follows our 2 protagonists, Yaya and Carl, as they show us the hollow nature of their relationship. And the hollow nature... Oh, I wish I didn't write that. I must have written that quickly, because I hate that.
The hollow nature of what?
Their souls. Don't expect to know the beats or expect what comes next, because you'll be forever grasping at straws as this increasingly strange but always interesting story takes us to some weird places. Triangle of Sadness.
Remember the rules. We'll come back to that. From the demented mind that brought us It and Misery comes Stephen Hawking's latest and greatest.
If someone didn't watch the last episode, that joke's not going to make any sense to them.
What lengths would you go to maintain your creature comforts? If a bunch of 1%ers crash a boat on a desert island, does the proletariat hear their screams? Screams in Dolce Gabbana. If we eat the 1%, who will tell us if they're cooked properly or what wine to pair them with? Triangle of Sadness flips the pyramid of modern capitalism on its head with a cajoling, laugh a minute, 2 at a farce, thrill ride through the stormy waters of late-stage Western civilization. Triangle of Sadness. 5 triangles.
Out of 5.
Out of 6.
Remember the thing about cinema rules, but before we do that, should you watch this movie before watching this podcast? What do we? When do we recommend people watch this movie? I'll go first because I never get to go first. Go watch this fucking movie right now.
You always go first. You went first on the one we just recorded.
You went first. I let you go first. By the way, when was this? Is this a new movie or an old movie?
Yeah, it was up for an Oscar. Just gone.
Okay, cool.
Is this a new movie? Yeah.
Because I didn't look at any. You just said watch this movie. And I went.
You didn't hear about it at all?
No, and I knew nothing. When Woody Harrelson showed up, I was like, oh. Because as I was watching, I was like, is this an indie film? I didn't know. This is because I don't know fucking shit. So I'm just watching movies. I'm just experiencing them as they are.
You know what's great? When you get a good movie and it's like that, you don't know anything about it and you're just like, whatever, I'll give this a go. Or someone says, you should watch that. And you're like, you don't know the plot.
Nope.
You don't know what it's about. You don't know who's in it. You don't know where it's from.
Nope.
And you don't know the actors, except Woody. And then it starts, you're like, this is really fucking great.
Yeah. I knew it was great. We'll get to it. But I don't know. But I'm not lying, by the way. I don't know if it's going to sound unbelievable that I don't know. I don't know how popular the movie was. And if it's going to sound unbelievable that I know nothing about it. It's like if someone was like, you've never heard of La La Land? It's like, of course I heard about La La Land because it's so in pop culture. But I've genuinely never even heard the name of this movie. So I'm not lying. I didn't know a thing. I didn't know the actors. I didn't know the plot.
I hadn't heard about it before the Oscars, I don't think. And then it was up for awards in that. And then I think that's where it came on my radar. But yeah, maybe if I had not paid attention to the Oscars at all, I might not have heard of it either.
And I didn't. You know, I only knew, the things I saw was the Anything Anywhere All at Once. I saw his speech and I saw the whale. What's his name? Brendan Fraser. Fraser. What's his name? I saw Brendan's speech. We're good like that. We know each other.
Yeah.
Go watch this movie before you watch this podcast because it is a great movie. Yeah, and I think it'll be easy to follow.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and then we don't spoil it for you because it was. I enjoyed not knowing what the fuck was about to happen, and then things just kept getting stranger and weirder, and it went to from where it started to where it ended. I was like, That's not where I saw this going at all.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, it was good. I couldn't recommend it anymore. Go watch it. You feel
yeah, circumstances under which you should watch it. Just go and watch it.
Yeah, just go out of your way to find it and watch it. Yeah, you think people just go out of your way to watch it? It's
Wait,
worth.
That's
seeing.
what you said, Matt.
No, sorry. What are you saying?
Never watch it.
Never watch it.
No. I think I mean definitely watch it. I'm just trying to give it more context of like what mood should you be in, because I'm sure there's times where, like, if you're just sitting down with your dinner and you just want to laugh. If you're thinking like I just want to watch it like a Jason Bateman comedy,
I did laugh a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's very funny, but it is like there's bits where it's like, what the fuck? It's sort of there's slower bits, not really slower, but there's heel turns where you're like you have to think a little bit about it.
And it reminds me of Infinity Pool in the way that there's no good character to hold on to. I liked Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, but he's garbage.
He is garbage, but
yeah,
he was kind of a likable garbage.
Yeah, he's funny.
Unlike in Infinity Pool, I felt like the two main people were garbage, but I also didn't like them.
Right.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, there's the two protagonists of this film you're not gonna like them. They fucking blow. But it's a weird movie. But it's not like Infinity Pool in the way that it's dark and awful and.
Well, that's what I said. If you go back and watch the Infinity Pool episode, I said this Infinity Pool, this Triangle of Sadness, and The Menu are all kind of like companion.
Did you say
pieces.
Triangle of Sadness in that episode?
I would have, because that's what I think.
Huh. I don't remember. I don't.
Well, maybe I didn't bring it up then, but
okay.
I'm sure I said it. This Infinity Pool and The Menu are like three little peas in a pod, and I think The Menu is the weakest one. But you will think Triangle of Sadness is the weakest one. I think you'll like The Menu.
Okay, go finish off your thoughts on whether you should watch it. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Yeah, fuck, I don't know. Like if you don't mind a bit of a thinker, it's not like it's hard to decode.
No,
but it's not like if you are hungover, you're just laying on the couch, you want to giggle and you want to turn your brain off.
Yeah,
you will pay attention to it.
You want to be able to have some time. You want to be watching it. You don't want to be like doing something else.
Yeah, if you don't want to pay attention.
Yeah.
If you want to be kind of half on your phone, having shit on the background, just look for the laughs. Don't watch it. But any other time, watch it. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't do a Bachelors of Art intro. What you're making me do is making me come up with answers.
You don't need to write that shit down.
That's true.
It shouldn't have even been filmed. It's so bad.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bachelors of Art. My name is Matt. Ben's over there.
Hello.
Oh, you said hello this time.
Hello. I'll do it to the two shot. So
hey.
we're both.
If you enjoy this episode as it goes on, you don't have to do it right now, but please consider giving us a like and commenting down below. Commenting really helps out the algorithm and supports the show. And if you want to support the show a step further, Patreon, you'll see all that stuff reminded at the end. Support the show. We love you. Triangle of Sadness.
Breaks the rules of cinema. You said in your intro. What rules do you think it breaks? If you will, please.
God, I wish I had time to think about this, because as I was writing, I was like, as I was watching it, I felt like it wasn't following a plot. It wasn't following the obvious beats. I guess that was it. That's probably more instead of breaking the rules of cinema. It just wasn't following the beats and the tropes of things you always see, which I know is stuff that you don't like, when it's like, yeah, I know this is going to happen, this is going to happen.
Not as a rule, but when it
can be done well.
Yeah, when it's like endlessly predictable for the sake of laziness.
Also, like the opening, not the opening scene, but one of the earlier scenes when Yaya, is it Yaya or Maya? It's Yaya, because it's a weird name. Yaya and Carl are on their date. That scene did not follow any dialogue writing. It was so fucking good. I felt like I was watching a reality TV show and not watching something that had been written.
That whole sequence of them there, then in the car, then the argument in the elevator. And then
in the morning when they're like kind of laughing about how stupid they were being. And
yeah,
it was all just like, it was so well written but not in the way that I'd like, I don't know. It didn't feel like it was written. It wasn't
snappy.
It was so natural and slow and weird, but also like I was I wasn't bored. Like, it's not snappy, but I wasn't bored. I was like, what the fuck?
Snappy's in like pithy, like one-liners getting thrown around. It's just frustrated people arguing and like not knowing what their point is while they say it and trying to find it. And
and that was it. It wasn't like either of them. They hadn't written them like one of them
is the morally right one. And I mean, he's right in that.
That they even knew what they were fighting about. Like, it felt like he might have had a bad day, but they weren't talking about that or explaining that in the plot. It was so, as a setup, they're having dinner at a snooty restaurant. They're both models. He makes a lot less than her because he's a male model and she makes a lot more. And the bill comes and it's clearly been there for a while and he sort of like taps it and she says, "Thank you, darling. Like, you're going to pay it."
But they're not sitting there staring at it. No. She's just on her phone and he's waiting for her to do it. And she's just mindlessly scrolling, doing shit.
Because as we learned throughout the fight, she said after something yesterday that he paid for that she would pay for dinner tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then a very light argument breaks out between the two of them about how he thinks she should pay or the fact that she said, "Thank you, darling," like expects him to pay. And the fight is so weird and interesting, and
it's a fight that starts about that bill and then explodes out to everything else that's ever gone wrong between the two of them.
Yeah,
and
also everything that's gone wrong between men and women in general.
Yeah.
It was so just intriguing, and I loved it. And the second that conversation was happening, I was like, I'm gonna like this film. Or at the very least, I'm going to like the writing.
You know what? The last week when we did the Boogeyman, it's the exact inverse of that. Watching the first scene of Boogeyman, you're like, oh, this is going to suck. There's no way that this becomes good.
Yeah.
And watching this, you're like, this argument. The first scene with all the models, he's like, and now you're doing this, and you're for the cheap brand. We're all happy and we're all together and we're all having a great time. And now it's very expensive, so we're serious. Like, interesting. And then he does his little walk and stuff, like, interesting. And then by the end of the next sequence, which is them at dinner having the argument, you're like, there is no way that this can get bad from here.
Yeah.
It's the exact inverse of Boogeyman, where you're like, it's too clever so far for it to suddenly fall in a heap and just become predictable and shitty.
Yeah. It reminded me of, like, every now and again, when we used to live together, and then would be pissy about something like the bin didn't go out on time or something, and then I don't know, either I was grumpy or you were grumpy or something, and then we'd come in here.
Don't get grumpy.
You've never been grumpy in your life. We'd come in here and we'd just have a chat, and it just like, it starts off as like, hey, can you remember when just to pay the energy bill on time? Not that was any of the things we ever said, but I don't want to get into it. But then it would just like unfold, and I just start throwing out stuff that I'm not exactly sure if this is a real point or just something that I'm throwing out now because I don't have anything else to say. But I also don't want to lose the battle of the original argument that we're having. And
it's the shifting goalposts.
Yeah.
It's also like, can you make sure you pay the bill on time just because this one was late? And it's like, every time you withhold the money and I always have to be asked you, it's like there's this fucking issue where like if I don't message you on time, then you got to send me a thing. And I always get like this raised eyebrow every time I come in here. I just want to see you. I don't want to hang out. And then there's like, what? Like, are we even friends? Like, do you not want me coming in here? Well, because you can come over my house and that's fine. But when I come in here and it's like, why are we talking about going to houses now? What the hell happened? It's like, if you look at the star, you're like, wait, how did that go to there? But if you're following it along, it's this roller coaster that sort of makes sense.
That was what it was. It was so fucking real that it felt like, yeah.
Obviously, you're Yaya, the manipulative one who is wrong.
If you want to be Carl, go for it.
They're both bad options, aren't they?
Yeah, and it started off as like Yaya was. I was like, oh, she's a piece of work, and very quickly I was like, oh, he's a piece of work, and then I was like, they're just so.
I haven't watched it since maybe Feb, but I feel like in that initial argument, he's right, and he just turns into garbage later on, doesn't he?
He says a couple things. It was, I don't know, his point was good when he said I shouldn't be, and you said you'd pay blah blah blah, and then when they get in the car, his argument feels like an argument that he doesn't understand. He's throwing out things like, I just don't want to fall into these traditional these he said like a buzzword that I've heard 1,000 times before. Yeah. These stereotypical traditional male female roles or whatever he said. It was something you could tell that he didn't know what he was saying. He just
got it off Instagram.
He just didn't want to pay the bill.
Yeah.
Or
There's an idea that he felt, but he had no idea what he was actually trying to convey.
Yeah, and then when they got into the elevator, he fucking lost it, and I was like,
That's fair enough, though, isn't it? Isn't it because she like shoves the money down his shirt like he's a hooker?
she pushes the money into him, but I don't know. He flipped the fuck out, and he was like stopping the elevator, and he's like touching his face, and it's like, whoa, you fucking just calm down. He was going mental on it.
But she is gaslighting him the whole time.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is why it's good, because it's like...
And it was because the taxi driver in the car was like,
You have to fight.
You have to fight for her. If you want her, you fight for her. And he took the first thing he did
Yeah.
and then jazzed him up.
You got it, random driver.
He's just such a useless, just empty vessel. He's just taking on whatever fucking emotion he feels in that very second and screaming at his girlfriend in an elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, he's up there and he's texting her about 100 times and I don't know. He just seemed, it was...
Rage texting is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's such benign, tiny little sounds and all like... Oh, you fuck... How do you...
I think texting was ruined us as a species. To make a phone call, there's so many arguments that take 2 minutes that go on for days because of the...
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, someone has to stand up a bit about like the old school phone. It's like, yeah, well, fuck you. Bing. And now it's the, oh, yeah, well, fuck you. Doot, doot, doot. It's not the same as like to hit the little fucking, yeah, well, fuck you.
So the movie's broken up into 3 parts. We're going to, like, spoilers. We're past the intro where you should go and watch the movie if you're not going to watch the movie too late. First part is Yaya and Carl. It's called Yaya and Carl, part 1. Part 2 is called The Cruise. Part 2 is called The Island. For the beats of the plot, we get a feeling for them. We understand them as people. That's part 1. We see them on a cruise, going through the cruise. The cruise eventually gets taken over by pirates, blows up.
The whole theme of it is like all these different ways of looking at money. It's all class and money.
Part 3, they're on an island.
Yeah.
They crash, they go to the island,
Yeah.
and they're living on an island.
It's all the has and the have-nots and how money works in society. So the first thing is that great little insular thing of them. It sets them up as characters, and the big fight starts as money between them, and it's like a quality of like the sexism man and woman thing, which he very clumsily tries to unpack, but doesn't do it, and she doesn't get it because he's doing a bad explanation, and she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because her thing is like, oh, I want a man that can provide for me. He's like, but we don't need to do that anymore.
Well, she makes a fair point, which because the obvious side of the argument is, yeah, you're a partnership, you're 2 people, take care of each other, pay a little bit, and then she makes an argument, which is like, look, what if I get pregnant? I just want to feel like the person that I'm with, even though I make more money than you, I want to know that you can support me and that you can take care of me.
Such fucking bullshit, though.
But I mean, it's like they give her the opportunity in the writing to say something that you're like, you know what? And like,
she has some sort of reason.
I think you should pay the money, but that's a fair enough point.
It's wrong, but it's not an unthought out argument. You could see someone having that point of view, believably.
But sometimes I could see people not being able to make that point of view. Like, she's so manipulative and kind of awful that she just says it. She doesn't try to mince her words. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. If that's how you feel, doesn't change the fact that you're being a bit of a cunt.
So that's the first section there, is that them with their money and their whole financial situation and whatever.
Yeah.
And they're definitely both quite well off because they're just fashionistering around Europe somewhere.
I didn't get the feeling that he was that wealthy.
Not crazy rich, but he's fine.
Yeah, because even later on when he goes to buy an engagement ring and she says, that's 23,000 euros. He was like, oh, no, fuck, I can't. That's too much.
Yeah.
And they got the cruise for free because she's an influencer. And the bit at the start that said male models make 1/3 of what female models make, I got the feeling that he was hanging off her a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that obviously bothers him, even though he doesn't mention it at any point.
And then they go onto this mega yacht for the luxury cruise with all these fucking oligarchs.
Does anything else happen in part 1? Or was part 1 quite brief? Because I feel like part 1 was an hour, but...
Well, there's the whole section at the start with him shirtless with all the other guys.
Yeah.
That's probably 5, 10.
Yeah.
Then him, they go to the fashion show and he gets kicked off the seat at the end because he's slightly less rich and influential.
No, he doesn't. He comes in and he's like, where can I sit?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that
right.
was a fun scene where like there's people sitting there already and, and the 3 people, they're like, you guys need to move. And
someone
like,
who's
okay.
richer and slightly more important than you on our totem pole is coming in. So you now get shoved down the order.
Yeah. And then those 3 sit down and the woman who's clearly the big, like that, it's not a real character. It's like an NPC, but she's like, she calls down the lady who organizes seats and she says something to her. Like we need this many more people. And then they clear the entire front row because that woman's so powerful. I was like, I don't know. I like that. Yeah. I was like, well, I got bitch. Yeah. Can you imagine that happening? When an entire row gets cleared because someone
I do that all the time.
You just go, where? Macca's? Can we clear 4 tables? Because
I go to the Colonel.
Oh, you go straight to the Colonel.
I'm working out like, oh, have all the chicken tenders, please.
This is from the Colonel himself.
Yep. It's just in drive-through though. They just make everyone behind me reverse out and everyone in front just has to drive. And then I just cruise through like a go-kart.
So anything, and then they have their fight. They have their taxi drive. They wake up the
we're
next
going
morning.
back and forth on that whole set. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's my bad. I think I started it. Yeah, then the fight and then the makeup giggling and then we go to the yacht, I think.
Oh, and we learn a very important detail where she's like, which sort of opens up that they're kind of hollow people where they talk about their relationship kind of like I like you, you like me, this is good for business, like we're happy together.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll make you love me or something along those lines where he's like, it's clear that this is not a normal relationship. They're not functional. They like each other. They enjoy hanging out with each other, but she doesn't. She's just sort of doing it because it's good for business. Yeah. And he's like, you'll fall in love with me. Don't you worry. And then she's
You'll
like,
fall in love with me.
She's like, okay. All right. If you think so, big
we'll
man.
See.
And it's kind of fun and weird, but then you're also like listening to what they're saying. You're like, this is not fun and this is not fun at all. This is just weird.
These people are damaged. And then we're on the yacht.
The yacht is very fun. That might have been my favorite section of the film was part 2, the yacht, as it was just non-stop 1%ers.
I love my favorite, I think, is that crazy old fucking hippie bitch.
In the spa?
Get in the spa. I want you to have jump in, please.
We'll just break that down for people who haven't seen the thing. There's the lady, one of the 1%ers.
So fucking out of touch with the world.
So the people who work on the cruise have so many rules of what they can and can't do, but they also have to do everything that the people ask. They're like, if there's a request, no matter how strange it is, we make it happen. Like at the very start of the cruise, the first thing that happens is you see a helicopter fly over the cruise ship and drop a supply drop, which they then have to take in, and they take the supply drop down to the kitchen.
This is very important looking lockbox.
This giant thing. And they open it up and it's 3 jars of Nutella. And it's like they had Nutella airdropped in. That's how much they fucking helped.
And then you notice later it's for the oligarch, the Russian guy. The guy who does shit. And he barely touches it.
No, I didn't. I don't remember him.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens is they show the Nutella coming and then it's on the table and he looks at it and he's like, oh, this is Nutella.
Oh, no.
And he's like, it's not like, yes, Nutella, I really wanted this. I'm so glad that he's so fucking entitled and wealthy. He's just like,
to pay for a helicopter. Yeah. The helicopter pilot, the fucking.
All these people. No, if it's here by 3, that's too late. We need it here for lunch. Get a more expensive, quicker flight. Yeah. And they get it and he's like, oh, there it is. Like I asked for. Just off to one side.
But it's not like cheesy or not well written like we're describing it here. Like it's so good.
The helicopter bit is just the introduction to the yacht section. That's just how you just see this. Oh, what's going on here? Helicopter comes in, drops the thing. What's in there? And then it comes at Nutella. That's weird. And then it just comes later back as a little aside with him. It's not like we're following the Nutella for the rest of the boat ride. It's like the main character or anything. It's just a little aside and an interesting way to start that section.
And it's such a good setup. You immediately know that you're like that. And then the cruise ship, they're having a meeting. Yeah. Anyways, so the lady is in the spa and she's basically...
It's some old hippie, old money rich lady who's just completely out of touch with reality and how the working classes live and what they have to do.
So the cruise ship staff there is sitting with her, filling her wine and listening to her talk because that's
bullshit.
That's her job.
Yeah,
is to sit there,
pretend that lady's not fucking useless and
insufferable.
Nuts. Yeah,
and she's listening to her talk, and then she has this wild idea. She's like, "I want you to. You should relax. Get in the pool." And this long ass scene of her telling her she wants her to get in the spa with her, get in the spa, relax, and then it turns around. It's like, oh, I got a better idea. I'll be the server and you relax and I get to pour you wine because won't that be fun, me being working class for 2 minutes? And that girl who is the worker, the smiling, trying to tell her, I can't do this.
Thank you. You know, she's like, this fucking dumb old bitch. She thinks she's come up with something ingenious. Like, you never thought of this. This is as creative as you can be.
But you can also see the fucking wheels turning of like, I'm going to get fired.
I have to do whatever she says, but if I do this, I get fired, but have to do this weird paradox.
Insanely well performed. That girl deserves an Oscar for that one scene. She was so fucking good. I could see it the whole time. I was like, you're going to get fired. You know it. Yeah. Anyways, somehow, because this woman has so much power, or this like money, she's made this request, this demand that all the staff have a swim. So every single staff, from the cleaners to the cooks to everybody, has to go down the water slide, and they're just doing it because there's one
miserable as well because they know they've got other shit they need to do, and they're just like this fucking crazy bitch.
And the cook says, if we go, the food's going to go bad. And they're like, whatever. She's like, we have no choice. This lady wants this. So get your fucking togs on. We're going for a dip.
So good.
So fucking, yeah. And that's not the first, like, there's all these characters you meet, like the people who are like, where do you work in? We work in hand grenades.
Bit of them, him and Yaya just sunbaking.
Yeah.
And then the staff are there doing something. And the guy takes his shirt off while he's working.
Yeah.
He's like, what, do you think he's attractive? She's like, yeah, he's attractive. And then he runs downstairs. He goes, one of the staff members had his shirt off on the main deck. It's like, oh, that shouldn't happen. I'm very sorry about that. We'll have a look at that for you. And then later on, he's getting on the boat, getting fired, just driven back to the shore.
Yeah.
He just gets the fucking shit can.
But even that's like a tiny moment. You're like, I think Carl has some humanity in him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh shit, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you kind of learn Carl isn't also that kept. I mean, in the first bit, he's not totally together. But when they're having the argument about, he's like, are you serious? You're just going to smile at that guy?
Yeah.
All she did was go like smile. I mean, she was doing some sort of flirting, but he went from like 0 to 10 where he's like, are you fucking serious? You're going to smile at that guy? How would you feel if I smiled at that woman? And she's like, I don't care. It's a problem for him, but it's not a problem for her.
It's, I mean, she says it's not a problem for her, but that's because if she says it is, then she's immediately a hypocrite and loses the argument. So she's just arguing the other way.
Yeah. And
I don't give a fuck. So you broke it. What if I broke this thing that you really care about? Don't care. Break it. See if I give a shit kind of thing. Yeah. I can't fucking believe you fucking broke that.
And what else? Is there any other like little tableau moments of that fucking cruise ship? It's
so long. There's so many things. My other favorite bit of that is Woody Harrelson and the oligarch arguing about communism and capitalism, but they're just reading quotes off their phone that they don't understand, that they've just found on fucking WikiQuote or something.
Yeah.
And they're just like having this intelligent conversation, but all it is just drunkenly waiting for your turn to recite what you've found in Google. That was very fucking funny.
Woody Harrelson is the captain of the ship, but you only really hear his voice for a while until
he's only got a couple scenes
because he's just hiding in his
cabin
room,
drinking,
getting pissed. I guess because he doesn't respect any of the people on the ship, and he's fucking sick of it, and he hates his job. But I'll tell you what, I always forget it until I see him do something, but Woody Harrelson is a fucking good actor.
Yeah, motherfucking act.
Every bit he was in, I was like, I just believe every word you're saying. Even though it's like, he's not far off every other character he plays, but I don't know. He really, because in Now You See Me, he sort of mixes with everyone else. And then in this, he sort of rises to the quality of the film.
You know what's funny?
He's like a chameleon.
Like 2 days ago, I was talking to Steve, and I was watching, there's this documentary called This So-Called Disaster, I think. And it's just all this behind-the-scenes footage of Sam Shepard rehearsing one of his plays, the late Henry Moss. And the cast is a guy you would know the face of and voice of, old Western sort of dude. Mm-hmm. Sean Penn, Nick Nolte, maybe one other famous person. And T-Bone Burnett's doing music for it and everything, but Woody Harrelson's the other person. And they're rehearsing that, and it's just all this footage of them rehearsing, and then they're coming in and they're trying stuff out, and you're like, oh, that's weird. That is just like how you rehearse a play, like anyone else would rehearse it. But they're all in there doing the lines, and Sean Penn's like pretty good, but he's doing Sean Penn shit, and Nick Nolte's just got that voice, so he sells everything. But Woody Harrelson comes in, and even in early rehearsals, you're like, man, it's like he's there. It's like he's just saying whatever he's saying in real life. Like, it's just all so fucking believable.
Yeah.
I was saying that to Steve. It's just like, you could just put him in there, give him the lines. And if he knows the lines, he's just going to sell it every time. There's just like a natural, like, casualness to him, that there's no anxiety or tension or nervousness of trying to nut this out while I do it in my head. He's just like, whatever. And then he just goes straight into it and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
That guy, he can act.
Have you ever seen that? I don't remember if it was a particularly good movie, but it was a Will Smith movie where he has a terminal. No, wait, I can't remember what it is, but he's going to kill himself and give his organs to people who deserve them. And he's like trying to track down
Pursuit of
people.
Happiness.
No.
Okay.
It's like 9. It's a 7. No, that's a different movie. I think it's named after how many bits he's giving or
9
something.
pounds.
9 pounds. Thank you. The heart weighs 9 pounds. Maybe that was
9
the
ounces.
reason.
The
Something
soul.
like that. 9 pounds. I can't remember
9
what it is.
ounces.
Anyways, Woody
9
Harrelson,
pounds. 9 ounces.
the opening scene of that
8 ounces.
movie,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it is.
12 ounces.
Probably. The opening scene of that film. Have you ever seen that film? Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't remember if it was a great film, but the opening scene, I was like, this is going to be good. It's Will Smith, and he's pushing Woody Harrelson's character to his limit to see how nice he is, to see if he'll crack, to see if he deserves to have his eyes donated, because Woody Harrelson is blind. But Woody Harrelson's a blind telemarketer, and Will Smith calls him up. Will Smith's a good guy, and he has to pretend to be mean to this guy, and he abuses the shit out of him, and it's such a...
Keep my wife's name out your fucking eyes.
I just, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, but he was so fucking good. He's playing, and he's just like the sweetest guy, and he's taking this abuse from Will Smith, and I just, you should just watch that scene. You'll be like, just to see if you like it, you might
He's
go
one of
watch
those
the film.
dudes who he just gets it.
Yeah, and he play it. Yeah, I love it. I feel like I don't give him enough time in my life. When I think about good actors, he never comes to my mind. But
Have you ever seen No Country for Old Men?
No.
You've never seen No Country?
No.
Oh, I'd be interested to see what you think of that.
Is he in that?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll watch it. We don't have to review it. It's pretty old at this point, but maybe we could do like a
2007.
Patreon episode. Yeah. Anyways, so they're on the cruise ship. Have you ever done anything close to that where you are pissed off and then you get someone fired? Like something that's so fucking awful like that, where you go, "Oh, I shouldn't have fucking
No, I don't think I've ever. I mean, I must have at some point
gotten
but
someone fired."
Yeah, cool, that's my favorite thing. No, I've never complained behind the person's back. I think I just say to them, like, if it's someone giving really shitty service or like not returning something at a store, it's like, why are you not doing? Well, the policies, but just like the policy's dumb.
Yeah.
So what? And I'll just talk to them about it. I guess that can flip over into the other thing where it's like you'll be paying out on a telemarketer because of the company policy. It's like, well, we actually don't cover that, sir. We can't cover that with your insurance. Like, what? That's fucking bullshit. Why? But they're just giving you the news that the scumbag insurance company policy is. So, but I think I always preface that with like, I know it's not your fault, but this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So the answer would be no, maybe. But I can't see why.
I haven't done it, but I just thought of one recently where I didn't actually do anything. And sometimes I'm like, am I out of touch if with this attitude? But I'm like, I think it's kind of impossible for me to be out of touch because I've been there, I've done it. I'm not fucking, I'm not rich. I'm still just paying my rent each month. I don't think I could be out of touch. But I was at the McDonald's drive-thru.
Wow.
And I went up to get my food, and it was 2 things. It was like a coffee, and then they came and got the bag. And the guy came to the window, and he didn't even look at me. He went, and I was like, "Thanks, buddy," and he walked away and didn't say a word.
I got that coffee on the way here, and there's the pay window and the collect window. And I went to the pay window, and she went to move the thing out, but it's got the the news screen that's just always out there. So I tapped that, and then she just like looked back in there.
She give you a thumbs up?
She gave me nothing.
Oh.
And then she was like doing something else. And I know she's busy, but I was like,
I know. Well, it's
like,
got to be.
do I go now? Is that? And I was like, okay, bye. And I just drove away, and she never acknowledged that I was there in any way.
It's got to be the same person because I got this 20 minutes before you did. Was it a smaller, maybe Indian girl or Sri Lankan girl or something? Yeah.
Quite like
tiny,
diminutive.
Yeah. She did the same thing, but we went bit and she went and gave me a thumbs up at least.
That's nice.
She didn't say anything.
With that smile, with like the
yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
what are you worried about?
No, that's a different person. This is a different encounter, totally different McDonald's. I get around, don't you worry. I hit all the McDonald's. This was on.
mystery shopper.
I'll tell you where this was. This was on the East Link. No, I shouldn't. I got to cut that right because I'm actually saying where the person was.
a person works on the Eastlink McDonald's.
Okay,
There's
right,
more
yeah.
than one. I think you'll be okay.
Okay. So, and they did that. First one, didn't say anything. And I was like, hey, thanks, buddy. Just as I do. And then he came back, did the same thing, gave me the bag. And I went, all right, have a good night. And he walked away. Should I be as annoyed at that as I am? I know it's a hard job, but it's...
If you can feel, because I feel like I can feel when I'm like, this is going to linger. I'll just wait there. Like,
what?
See ya. Goodbye.
He walked away.
Yeah, you don't have to leave. He has to come back at some point. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
He has to come back and say, you're done. Oh, so I can go. Thank you. That acknowledgement is how I now know that I can leave.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Have a great day.
But it feels so strange to be like, you have to say hello to me or you have to be nice to me. Or,
Yeah, I know,
and
it's
it's not
weird,
that,
isn't
but
it?
I just like to... I don't know. It's a hard point to defend.
You know what you do?
What?
You go, park the car, walk into the McDonald's, go behind the counter, walk up to that guy in the drive-thru window and go, sorry, we just didn't get to say goodbye before. I don't know if you knew that I was leaving. So I'll go now. Just wanted to say goodbye okay, you have a good one. Thanks for your time. You make sure, and he will never do, and then throw your coffee in his face as well, because then he'll know not to do that again.
The impulse to go, as you walked away, to go, hey, come back. And I said, what's wrong? Like, what? You didn't say a word to me. It was in there. And I was like, that's not right. I can't be doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Surely it's required on like...
You know what I saw once?
What?
Red Rooster.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
They take for, yeah.
I saw Red Rooster. You know what I saw once? Red Rooster.
Triangle of Sadness.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about a movie.
There was a guy, I think 2 cars in front of me. Maybe just the car in front of me. I can't remember. Pulling up there, sitting there. Like, you know, you can see through the car. Back of his head. Just. And then the thing, and she's like, oh, they're talking. And then I'm just like, oh. He's like, hands the thing through, like snatches the card back or gives the thing back, and then just drives out of there real quick. And I pull up, and she's like,
oh, no.
it's like, that's so excessive.
Yeah.
And I still think about that. I was like, it's so annoying that like you didn't have to stop somewhere. I couldn't just go, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's fucking overcooked chicken.
Yeah.
Calm down. Like, was that worth it? Ruined her day. You're going to be fucking steaming about this for hours probably, because how dare the universe do this to you, that your chicken was wrong or something was wrong with your order or whatever. Just fucking take a breath.
That's sort of how I feel. I'm annoyed that he's not saying hello or he's not acknowledging me, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, it's a shit job.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, it sucks.
if I'm in that position, I take that out on the job, not the people. I enjoy that. Like, getting to say hello to someone is the bit I like. It's the doing the fucking
I will do
work.
the same thing. Like, oh, how's your day today? Yeah, good. I mean, this place blows, but there you go. I'm going to get you some hamburgers.
Yeah. So that's the bit I like. But maybe he doesn't like that. Maybe he hates all of it.
If you don't want to be there, it's all just work, I guess, at that point. But was the rage for the guy in front of me. Like, you never be angry. Like with that guy, I just sit there. I just get weird, I think.
Yeah. You're like,
I'm just going to make it weird.
I can't get mad, so I'm just going to be weird.
Well, I'm just going to write the situation with just taking it out of the bounds of normal social interaction, which makes people very uncomfortable when I'm with them and I do it. Like Steve or Georgia, if I do it when I'm in with either of them, like, oh, please, no, please, God, don't. Like that lady at Officeworks when I was reversing out and she was reversing out and she's like, meep, meep. And then I just put the car in park and got out and was duk, duk, duk. She's like staring straight at me, like, it's fine. I'm not going to yell at you, but you just don't know what you're doing. That's not my fault. If we both kept reversing, you didn't need to panic. We're both doing the same thing, like a little synchronized swimming type thing. And then we're both just going our way. So you don't need to swear and hit the horn a lot because it makes you look like a dick. And it makes me think that you don't know how to drive. Anyway, have a nice day. She was like, when I got in the car, fixed. Everyone has a nice day. She's not, the guy was going to abuse me or these fucking people don't know how to drive. She was like, whatever. That was fucking weird.
The impulse to get out of the car happen itself and not to do what you did. I want to go with someone's going to be like, is everything okay? And they'll be like, well, I'm like, I haven't, especially when you haven't done anything wrong. Right now for me, it's on our road. They've got it blocked. So you only, it's at an intersection and only local access is available to go straight. But they've also blocked off the straight lane to do something. So you have to go into, there's 2 left turning lanes and you have to go into one of them to go straight. Yep. So you're blocking everybody else from being able to turn left. But if you're local access, you're allowed to go straight. And someone's behind me going, and I'm like, I'm going straight. I'm like, I understand, but just look at the signs around you. I'm going straight. I'm local access. I just want to get out of the car and go up and be like, what's going on? But I'm so worried if I get out of the car, they'll also get out of the car and stab me 40 times in the torso.
Yeah, but you disarm it with like a you could see like, I'm not even mad. Especially when you're right. It's so much easier to do when you're right because it makes them feel way worse for a second.
Yeah.
And then everyone equalizes and it's fine.
And I think I have a pretty disarming face. I'll get out of the car.
I don't know if there's been a more disarming face in
history.
In the history of not even human beings, all animals, all beings in any conceivable universe that have ever kicked over a camera.
Did I knock that then? How badly did I knock that over?
Speaking of situations where everyone's a dickhead, you ever seen that video where a guy calls two tradies and just puts the phones together?
Yeah. Yeah.
You called me. No, you fucking called me, dickhead. Well, fucking what do you want, cunt? You want the job done or not? You fucking called. No, you fucking called me. I love that.
I've seen the same sort of one where a guy calls up a Chinese restaurant, does a full order, and he says, "Can you read that order back to me?" And then puts him on with the other guy. Yeah. And the person picks up the phone and just hears the order coming and it's clearly running. And he goes, could you say that again? And he's like, and then he's repeating the order that he's already heard.
So you want blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So you want blah, 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 blah.
So fucking good.
Genius.
Triangle of sadness.
I feel like that says something about our society, those phone calls. Like it's poetic in some way. Just as like is Triangle of Sadness.
So they're on the cruise. And now
the boat crashes.
Well, hold on, because that's my favorite bit of the film is that.
Okay.
So the boat is
know what? Okay, you say it and then I'll ask my question to you.
The boat is hitting some like very heavy waters, stormy,
turbulent.
And they have to have the captain's dinner, which is just the fucking best scene in cinema I've ever seen. They're having the captain's dinner and they're all like standing sideways because the boat's fucked. Yeah. And so they're having their captain's dinner and everybody at the captain's dinner starts to get sick. And then people are just vomiting in hats and vomiting and they have to like close down the captain's dinner.
It's like Monty Python. Yeah.
It's so fucking good. And it's all these 1%ers just vomiting and shitting themselves.
Sliding around in their vomit.
One of them has a fucking heart attack or a stroke or something. And then it's showing them all in their rooms and the captain and the rich Russian have gotten together over the intercom and they're doing speeches about socialism and communism and capitalism and just saying, and like the Russian guy's like, the ship is sinking. And so everyone's panicking and putting their shit on. And while people are panicking, they're running and falling down the stairs. It's just anarchy. And the ship isn't sinking, but it is like water is coming up through the toilets and freaking everybody out. And you're cutting back and forth. Like I said to you, because I had to pause the movie in the library when my laptop died. But the last thing I saw was the woman who made everybody get in the pool. She's in her underpants, vomiting in the toilet and then sliding around, hitting the wall, sliding back and grabbing onto the toilet and vomiting because she's just covered in vomit. Yeah. It's so fucking good to see these 1%ers just in the worst. And by the way, the reason they're vomiting is because she made everybody in the kitchen and all the staff come and jump in the pool. And they said, the food's going to go bad if we do this. And then, so they're all eating bad food. They're all getting seasick. They're all fucking spewing. Like, it's all their own faults and all not their own fault. And no one's handling it well. And
now, here's the thing, Matt.
Yeah.
My question to you is, you thought a lot of the stuff in Infinity Pool was excessive, just unnecessary. There's a lot of vomit and sliding around vomit and shitting themselves. Yeah. And it's so scatty and vomity. Why is that not excessive?
You know what? I asked myself the exact same question.
Yeah.
I thought about it a lot. I knew you were going to ask me.
Was?
I don't know. I think tonally, they're two very different films. Tonally. I think the difference is that in Infinity Pool, the 1%ers were winning. And in this one, the 1%ers are losing. Like the 1%ers in Infinity Pool are taking advantage of the island and engaging in whatever they want to do. Here, they're taking advantage of everybody engaging what they want to do, and now they're shitting themselves. And that was very funny to me.
There's some cosmic justice.
Yeah.
You do need this equilibrium. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, the ship doesn't sink, but they wake up the next morning and everyone's fucking super bummed out. But then...
As you would be after shitting and vomiting for like 8 hours. They feel exactly like that.
And then it pans out and you see pirates, like Somalian pirates coming towards the boat. And again, I was like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? And then one of them throws a grenade on the ship, and this couple who work in weapons and grenades pick it up, and she's like, darling, look. And he's like, where did you get that? She's like, because they're interested in grenades. And he goes, oh no.
Yeah. No, the main line of that is like, oh, was that one of ours?
Oh, like he brought it with him?
No. Like their company manufactured it. It's they killed by their own grenade is the joke there.
Yeah. And then basically once the ship explodes.
That was the only bit that kind of annoyed me in the movie. I was like, how long is this fuse? It's comedically long.
Fuse?
The fuse on the grenade.
Oh, yes, it was.
They throw it up there and it's like a 10-second. Oh, darling, what's this? What is that? That's a grenade. Where'd you get that, darling? Oh, it looks like one of ours. Oh, yeah.
There was a moment there where I thought, oh, maybe the pin isn't pulled. Yeah. Because it took so long.
Anyway, like it's a very small thing. They need it for the joke. But yeah, it's the grenade manufactured by the company that they own.
Yeah.
Family business.
That's pretty much a hard cut to them. Like some people are swimming into the island at an unknown distance from where the ship
Which
exploded.
is funny. It's just like, you know what happens in between here. We don't need to show.
Yeah. And a few of them are alive and everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll leave that behind. But I really fucking loved the cruise. I liked all the characters. Not liked them, but their worlds were so fucking... Was there anyone else? There was also a husband and a wife, and the wife's had a stroke and now she can't speak normal.
You know what other scene's good? It's probably pretty unnecessary to the whole thing, but it just adds to the texture. That really rich software guy who's just sitting on his own. Yeah. And the oligarch and the other dude are sitting there watching like, ha, 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 look at this guy. And he's like, do you mind taking a photo? And that whole fucking interaction's great and they're like, no, come and hang out with us. Like, oh, guys, the classic fucking drunken single guy thing of just reeking of desperation. Like, you guys, these girls, they're great girls. You take care of them, all right? You need to treat them right. Like, shut the fuck up with your one-dimensional fucking heroic bullshit.
And then they interact with him for 2 seconds, and he's like, "Oh, they say,
buy you Rolexes.
They say, come get a photo with us," and he got a photo. He's like, "I buy you Rolex.
Yeah, I'm very rich. Please, I would love to do that for you.
I won't beat around the bush. I'm very rich.
Yeah,
and what you've done for me here now, it means so much to me. Just taking photo. I buy you Rolex. Let's go." He's so fucking...
Take care of these girls. They're great girls, guys. You gotta take care of them, okay?
Yeah. Fucking good. But then again, he ends up being one of the ones on the island that I kind of like.
Yeah. Anyway, we're at the island now.
At the island, the survivors of the island, Yaya, and Carl. There's also possibly a pirate.
Yeah, they never really know.
Yeah,
they just profile him.
One of the guys on the island is a black guy who's not dressed in nice clothes or cruise ship clothes, and he says he was off. He wasn't working at the time, and they all assume he's a pirate. But they don't really unpack that anymore. They're like, "You're a pirate." He's like, "I'm not," and everyone's like, "Let's just cool down. It doesn't matter at this point." I think later on he's like, "I'm a pirate" or something like that.
Okay,
but they're there. Then the head of all the staff is there, as well as the toilet manager. They're the two staff that are still there.
But the thing of that is two of the workers, the working class.
Yeah.
So it's all 1%ers except maybe the pirate guy. And then there's the working class. There's two of them. But
also like the two total opposite ends of that working class is the one who's in charge of everyone and the one who's in charge of the toilets. Then there's the rich, the Russian guy who got his money through fertilizer. There's that guy from the bar who's like, "I buy you Rolexes."
Yeah.
And then there's also the lady who has had a stroke at some point and can't speak properly. She makes noises.
She says one sentence over and over again.
Is that all she was doing? I thought she was
German.
just... Oh.
No, it's just some random thing that means nothing.
But she's there. Mentally, she's there. She understands everything.
She's just lost all her ability to speak.
And at one point, she's having a conversation with the pirate, and they're having a nice conversation where through gestures and stuff, it works out that she slept with someone to get a really good job, and they're like laughing about it. I feel like there's one other person, but I can't remember who it is.
It might be one other. Anyway.
So they're there, and basically they work out. There's a few fun interactions, but the main plot point of the island is that the toilet manager of the working class,
the lowest earning,
as low as you can get on this group of people, is the only one who has any skills for them to survive on the island.
Yeah.
And she really fucking knows it. and turns them all into her little bitch boys.
So the whole pyramid flips on its head,
Yeah.
and now it's all inverted, and they have to run this new economy and work out this hierarchy. And it's very funny.
Such a great scene when she's gone. She built the fire. She caught the octopus. She prepared it. Like she's found limes, doing the limes, and found some herbs, and she's doing the herbs. And like there's a bit where the hotel manager is like goes to grab it. And she's like, not yet. And she's like doing some more preparation.
Yeah.
And then she passes it and she's going, one for me, one for you, one for me. And so she gets half and then they get half to spread between them. And the hotel manager's like, that's bullshit. And she's like, I built the fire. I made the octopus. I did the thing. I get more.
There's
and
all
then
this capitalists fucking, yeah.
and she does the I'm the captain now, which was so fucking funny. And she's like, who's the captain? Who's the captain? The person goes, you're the captain. He gets some octopus. Who's the captain? You're the captain. You can have some octopus.
Yeah.
So fucking well. She plays everybody.
And then she ends up banging the most handsome guy.
She takes Carl off Yaya and makes him her little fuck boy.
Yeah.
And it just lets it. He gets into it. Like he gets really into it. Where he's at one point he's like, I want to leave Yaya and just be with you. And she's like, no, you're just my little fuck toy. And he's like, but I love you. Like he's so fucking weak and shitty.
Yeah.
It starts off as him being like,
he's banging her for the breadsticks for him and Yaya.
To give to Yaya to help her. And then it just, It
all gets very jealous and intertwined. The bits that made me laugh there were the guys getting, they sneak the breadsticks and like cut a hole in the bottom of the bag and they're just taking like one more breadstick, and they just eat all the breadsticks. It's like the empty packet.
Yeah.
And the new captain, what's her name? Maya?
Is it Maya? Is it Yaya and Maya?
I don't know.
I could look it up.
You kept saying Maya, but
so we can get it right.
She's like, who ate the breadsticks? And then they're all just standing. She's like a woman in maybe her late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
Very small. Like, there's no reason physically why she's the most dominant one, but she knows how to do the stuff and she's indispensable to them. So she's this tiny lady telling off these like 6 foot guys.
Abigail,
that's right. And they're all just taking it like, yeah, sorry. Sorry, Abigail, we took the breadsticks. I'm sorry. Well, no food for you tonight then. Sorry, Abigail. That and then, what is it? Do they have whistles or something? It's whistles.
Yeah.
Whenever he's getting some and they keep blowing the whistles. They're like, hey, in the whistle when Carl's going to be with Abigail. Yeah. And he's like, fuck off, don't blow the whistles. And takes the whistle off and runs away. And the other goes, they find the whistle and go, again. And he gets real fucking annoyed about it. They're just winding
They're riding Love Boat on the side of, because there is a supply boat that's gone with them that is totally contained. And so, because she's the boss of the island, she's like, she gets the shelter. I sleep in the Love Boat. Carl, boy, you're coming with me.
Yeah. Come on.
And it starts off, that was when that whole thing about their jealousy thing flipped over, when he's like, the first time she's like, you're coming to sleep with me. And she's like, what do you think she's going to do in there? And he's like, I don't know, just thought she'd want company. She's like, she's going to try and sleep with you. And Yaya's like, you can't kiss her, you can't do this, you can't. And he's like, can I give her a massage? He's like, no, you can't give her a massage.
Yeah.
Like her jealousy really takes the hold.
Well, it's funny because he's jealous because he's hanging off her and dependent on her in the start of it. Mm-hmm. And then now she's dependent on him for these breadsticks and stuff, but she's getting all jealous and fucking snippy about it.
Yeah. But he's also dependent on Yaya and...
On Abigail.
Yeah. It's such a fucking...
It's great.
Yeah.
Genius.
I don't know if there's much more to unpack there. It's not that long a part of the movie, but there's a lot of stuff that sort of goes down, a lot of different conversations and...
It's great. All the characters are fun.
Yeah.
It's just a great flick.
Now the ending is, I don't know if the ending's as strong or it's a little weird. I didn't hate it, but that was the one where I knew what was going to happen. As they were going away, so Yaya comes up to Carl and Abigail and he says, I'm going to go for a hike to the other side of the island. And Abigail says to Carl, I'm going to go with her. I think we should have some time alone to talk. Abigail being the older toilet manager who's now in charge of the island
manager,
and Yaya being the old fucking girlfriend. And I'm like, all right, one of them's going to kill the other one. And then they get to the other side of the island and they work out that there's an elevator in the mountain. And that she's like, Yaya's like, Abigail, this is a resort. We're on a resort. We're saved. We're saved. And I'm like, well, second the resort appears, I'm like, Abigail's going to kill Yaya because she wants to maintain this. She can't go back to her old life. She'll go back to fucking toilet manager, but here she's fucking king. And does she? Oh, no, it cuts to her like she's got the rock, like she's going to bash Yaya on the head. And then it cuts to Carl sprinting through the forest because he's probably also worked out that it was a resort because there was a guy on the island selling hats or some shit. And now he's coming to them to say, oh, it's a resort. And he's probably going to get there, see Abigail's bash fucking Yaya's head in. They're all going to be saved, but Yaya's dead.
Who knows?
Something
Again,
like that.
it's the movie's over.
It's the fucking
You don't know.
Inception twirl. You don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Don't know if I loved that ending. It was, I don't know what, but again, I don't know what I would do. I thought it was fine.
At that point, I was like, all right, I get it. I think it's time to wrap it up. And I think that's a better way than like, what do we just, a boat comes and saves them.
Yeah.
We just leave them on the island forever. So I think that's fair enough.
And I couldn't have predicted it like in the grand scheme of things. It was still like a new thing for them to have a resort on the island.
Can you fucking imagine if you had put that movie on and I said, the end of this movie is they've been stranded on an island and one of the servants from the yacht is about to smash a rock on the head of that chick sitting at the dinner table with Carl.
Yeah.
Like, what? They're in a restaurant eating dinner. They're models. The fuck are you talking about? Desert island, rock toilet manager. What the fuck?
Or even like a step before that when he's at an audition for male modeling.
Yeah.
And they're like, give us Happy, give us fucking Gucci or whatever the fuck he says. Yeah, it was not a plot that I could follow like that.
Some
I
wild
expected
turns.
beat for beat, but every second of it was so fucking.
I always think with movies like that, like there's a very fine art to being able to do that and have me still be on board. You ever seen Dusk Till Dawn, the Tarantino one? Him and Clooney.
No.
So the whole first half of the movie is them. They get into a Winnebago and they're bandits and they take this family hostage and get them to try and drive them across the state line or to Mexico or something. They want them to drive them out of the country into Mexico.
Yeah.
And then it ends as a vampire movie. But it's just a heel turn.
Yeah.
It's a complete heel turn. And the first half is very interesting. You're like, fuck, what's going to happen here? So Tarantino's real creepy.
Yeah.
And Clooney's his brother. They're two brothers. And Clooney's just kind of suave, the brains. And I think Tarantino's just a bit fucking creepy and he's his sidekick. And they hijack this thing and it's the dynamics of the family in the Winnebago trying to negotiate. Oh, okay, that's fine. We'll take you where you boys need to go. We don't need any blah, blah. And Tarantino's kind of cracking onto the daughter, which is Juliette Lewis, I think. And it's just this weird dynamics of like, what's going to happen here?
This is the one where he sucks Summer Hayek's feet and pours whiskey down.
That's it. Yeah. So that's when they're in the bar.
Yeah.
Summer
Sorry.
Hayek comes out.
I've never seen the movie. I just know that scene because of the feet and Tarantino.
Yeah. And so, she turns into a vampire and I think kills Tarantino first. And then there's a bunch of vampires in the place. It's a vampire bar. That's the heel turn. You're like, what the fuck? What happens to that? That's just it.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's kind of interesting because it's capricious and like, the world's a crazy place kind of thing. But at the same time, you're like, well, so what? Fuck the rest of the story. What was the point of the first half then?
Yeah.
And so I don't really love it. It's got its own place, fine. But this is... You go from all the interesting interpersonal dynamics of Yaya and Carl arguing. You're like, this is an interesting little dynamic of marriage story kind of thing between two very vapid people.
Yep.
And then you go onto the yacht and you're like, this is fair enough. This is an extension. But then by the time we're at the dinner and it's rocking and everyone starts vomiting, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But you're totally invested the whole time.
Plus, it ends. It's like the start and the end are connected in so many ways. Like
the theme runs through, the whole capitalism thing runs through.
I think in the center, it like opens up a whole different thing. Like the Yaya, I'm talking about Yaya and Carl and who they are as people and their relationship to each other and how their relationship to each other affects other people.
Yep.
I think that is like a start and end kind of thing. And in the middle, it's not so important. It's more about, capitalism and the 1% and all that. But the start and finish, even though they're so fucking different, are still connected in a way that, I don't know, it was clever.
It is like the lens kind of, it's them and then it zooms out for the middle part of the film and then it comes back in for the end. It's nicely bookended like that.
I think maybe there could have. It was long. It was a long movie. I think maybe there could have been some trimming.
This is the thing.
But I don't know what they would trim.
Well, little scenes like the guy that buys them Rolexes, the girls' Rolexes, you could take those out plot-wise, but they're just so fun. Like, there's just such good scenes.
Yeah.
They're funny scenes. All the acting is so fucking good.
Yeah.
All the writing's so good that you're like, you don't need it, but I'd rather it be longer and it be there.
But on the island, did you feel like... Because at that point, you're getting to the end of the movie and you're feeling like...
I'd have to watch it again. I haven't seen it for a couple of months. I do feel like...
I did want it to wrap up, but also I was like, the run's going to start in an hour. And I had things...
I did feel like there was some slow bits on the island, but again, I don't know what I'd take out. Looking at all those scenes, like the breadstick scene, maybe you don't need that. You could
But
just
then
have.
you wouldn't have,
There's so many little. Oh, the whistle with them blowing the whistle. It's the texture of the island and how they are living now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all. There's a lot of stuff that's not essential, but it's also good. That you can't. I don't know what I'd get rid of.
No.
It was Sophie's choice.
It's fucking good.
Mm.
It's a fucking good movie.
All right, surely that's.
That's a bit of a podcast right there. And you're getting antsy. You got ants in your pants.
Yeah, I just don't have anything else to say about it, and I feel like that was kind of long.
I will ask you one question.
Okay.
Is it in your top 10?
Ooh, there's a lot of movies that have been made, and there's a lot of movies that I really like.
It was really fucking good.
It was good.
I don't think it's in my top 10. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, to be honest.
You say that, and I'm pretty sure I thought the same thing because I did feel like it was long when I finished it. I was like, that was long, but that was good. But I already was like, I could sit down and watch it again for this podcast. I just ran out of time, but I was considering it. I reckon probably give it another year and I might watch it again.
Okay.
So we'll reconvene in a year and see what you think.
For the Patreon only episode where we could do like live, everyone watch it with us. No, that's stupid. Goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching that episode of the podcast. If you want to support the show, do us a favor. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Bachelors of Art. There's extra content there. There's test episodes that you guys haven't seen. Stuff that you can't get anywhere else. It's cheap and it helps out the show. We'd love to see you there. Thank you so much.